Nice to see some familiar faces from last month. My name is Alan Ames, and I perform a one-hour comedy show titled Alan Ames Thinks He's Funny, primarily at senior centers, libraries, residential complexes all around New England. I want to use my time tonight to tell a story. I used to drive for a limousine service. It was my retirement job. A lot of airport stuff, like a black car service, not a taxi, not Uber, not Lyft, none of that. And I had to pick up a woman in the morning of a Patriots celebration parade. Now, the last time that we had a celebration parade down in the city was the last time that Brady was with the Patriots. And you know how much of a sports city we are, whether it be the Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, Patriots. Tens of thousands of people come out to celebrate our victories. So the parade, if you've never been there, you have to go, and hopefully we'll have another victory parade shortly, because one of these years coming up. Tens of thousands of people come, and they line the streets, right? And it's the duck boats that start up, I don't know how well you know Boston, but it starts up by Government Center. They come down Commercial Street, Tremont Street by the Common, take a ride on Boylston, and they end up at the Brew. So the duck boats have all the players and their families on it, and the duck boats go slowly. They go about 100 feet and stop, 100 feet and stop, and about 100 feet and stop. I had to pick up a woman that morning who was going to the airport to get on a British Airways flight. She was going back to England. And it took me forever just to get there because there were like people walking in the streets. And it was just awful. I had to pick her up at a hotel right on the parade route. It used to be called the 90 Hotel, 90 Tremont Street. I don't know what it's called right now. Couldn't pick her up at the front door because of all the people on the sidewalk and the iron railings and everything were all set up. I had to take her right down an alley right next to it and wait for her there. Well, we're getting close to the time that the parade is going to start. And I knew that if I didn't get this woman into my car soon, we weren't going to get to the airport because it takes about an hour and a half for the parade to get past the spot. So I was talking with a police officer at the top of this little alley, and I needed to get out and take a left to get her to the airport. And he was telling me that, the parade is going to start shortly, so I'm going to have to close off the top of the street, and you're going to be stuck there for like an hour and a half. So I'm feverishly texting with this woman. We have to go, or you're going to miss your flight. So finally get her into my car, and I go up the alley kind of quickly, and the police officer stops me. He does this. He looks to his side, and then he says, "Okay, go slow, have your emergency flashers on, and have your high beams on, and go slow." So just as I took the turn, he closed off the top of the street. That's how close we were in time. So as I took a left on Tremont Street, I looked in my rearview mirror. The parade is right behind me. Right behind me. So picture tens of thousands of people, iron railings on each side of Tremont Street. People are like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people deep. And the noise is deafening. The noise is deafening. So as I pull out, I start going slowly. What happens? People are clapping for us. They think that we are the lead car of the parade. I'm driving a black four-door Cadillac, and I have a woman in the back seat, dressed as dressed in a suit and all like that. And people are cheering, they're taking our picture, they're videotaping, and this is a true story. and this British woman who was very prim and proper, what does she start doing? She's now waving to people. She's now waving back to people. And people are waving at us. And I'm eating this up. Because I'm having a good time also. So I'm in sync with the parade. Every time it stopped, I stopped. Every time I stopped, the parade stopped, I stopped. And we were doing this, and people are screaming, "Who is she? Who is she?" So the woman asked me, what should I tell them? I said, tell them you're Belichick's secretary. Right? So now she's at the window, rolled down, and people are screaming. She's in a British accent. She's yelling out the window, "I'm Belichick's secretary. I'm Belichick's secretary," right? A few minutes later, she asks me to kind of pull over a little more to the right. So I did. Why did she want me to do that? Because now she's high-fiving people. Now she's high-fiving people on the right side of the car, right? And people are like cheering, and they think we're part of the parade. She's yelling out that she's Belichick's secretary. People are giving her stuff, right? Like roses and things, right? She's eating it up. She's, finally get to Boylston Street where I could go straight and, get her to the airport. So we get to the airport, and she said, that was like one of the best rides I've ever had. I said, yeah. And I saw that people gave you some stuff like roses, and she said, yeah, they did. And some little kid gave me a football. I said, what? She said, some little kid gave me a football. I said, he didn't give you a football. What do you mean? You were supposed to sign it and give it back to him. So she goes, oh, that was what the magic marker was for. She took some poor kid's football with her back to England. And this poor kid is there wondering, what happened to his football. So that is my football victory parade story. I know I must have a little bit of time left, so I just want to talk a little bit about my experiences, with the seniors, my fellow seniors. When I first started comedy, people could be nervous public speaking, and I most certainly was when I first started about 4 years ago. And there was always that saying that, to get over being nervous in front of people, just picture your audience without clothes on, right? So I tried that once because I was nervous early in my career. Unfortunately, I did it at a senior center. And it didn't really help much. It didn't really help much. You guys all right? Now, I make fun of my fellow seniors, and I don't mind because they can take it. They can take it, And I'm a senior myself. And I've had some great experiences with audience members. One story I like to tell is that after one of my shows at a senior center, a lady came up to me, and she wanted to give me a $5 bill. She said, go buy yourself a coffee. Now, I need to explain that when I entertain at senior centers or at churches, I volunteer my time. Other places can pay me, but senior centers and religious organizations that want me to entertain, I volunteer my time. So she said, no, I want you to go buy a coffee. No, I don't owe you money. No, really, go buy a coffee. What does she do? Because I wouldn't take the money. She takes the $5 bill, she shoves it into my front right pocket. Okay. But the problem is, a few seconds later, her hand is still in my pocket. So I had to ask the question, what are you doing? And she goes, well, I'm looking for change. Oh, is there anything else I want to talk about here? We're not all that great with technology as seniors. I put facial recognition on my iPhone recently, and it works really well, except in the morning it doesn't recognize me until after I've had my coffee. I think that's good for now. Ellen, should we be in here? I must be anyway. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen. Next up, we have Nick performing music.
How you guys doing?
Read something. His name was Ian.
Oh, yeah.
But that was my
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Interesting.